Son of a...
What the hell was that, bro?
You okay?
Yeah, man. Oh, Megeredchian Law. We should call Alex.
If you've been injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or work injury, reach out to Megeredchian Law today.
At Megeredchian Law, we maximize your compensation, you get constant client communication, and we win when it matters most.
If you've been injured in a car accident, trip and fall, nerve, muscle, joint, any sort of pain at all, hit up Dr. Rafi. He'll take care of everything from A to Z. What's the number at?
818-407-0007.
And tell him the WiseNuts sent you. I was contemplating wearing white today. Well, the camera was throwing everything off.
You don't look bad, man. You look good.
What do you guys think? Huh? Yes? Should we stick with white? I know my wife will be happy. She was like, you should keep it close.
Yeah,
All the rainbows.
beige.
White, pink.
Yeah, you should wear pink. I was about to say you should wear pink.
I don't have a pink shirt. All my shirts are next to my shirts.
Real men wear pink. Have you ever heard that term?
I haven't heard that.
Uh-huh.
I haven't. But, I mean, majority of our shirts are next level shirts. We buy in bulk.
People will think next level.
No, they're like $5. Next level, guys. Literally, just wear it for a couple of months, throw it out, and
That's nice.
buy that.
That's a flex. If you can throw out your shirt, I bet you're not throwing out your all same shirts after 2 months. We're throwing
Or your awesome masks. You guys should be paying us for these shout-outs.
I like you to go. A couple times. Yes.
He's not awesome, that's why.
Yeah.
He's busy. But anyway,
I think it's good.
is it? Happy Monday, everybody. TGIM, there you go. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. We want to thank Mr. Narek. It's Ibrahim, right? Correct. For taking time out of his Monday to join us as a contributor today. As everybody knows, every Monday we go live. We have our guests with us, or we do a home team. This week, Narek's going to be joining us as a contributor. We're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. But the first thing that we kind of want to dive into is a lot of the things that have been going on in the Middle East with the IRGC, with the Strait of Hormuz, with this conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran, and all the countries that are being affected by it. Recently online, we've been noticing everybody talking about the Strait of Hormuz. Is it open? Is it closed? Is it open? Is it closed? So many people have been making memes out of it. In fact, you posted a meme today from Mad TV.
I love that Asian.
Yeah, and I forgot what her name was, but the Asian lady from Mad TV, where she's making fun of the open and closed sign. And till today, we're not understanding what truly is going on over there. A lot of people on the right are talking about this as genius strategic plans by the Trump administration and by the conservatives, because they're causing conflict, which is closing the Strait of Hormuz, which is affecting China and majority of the global powers who rely on the oil, leaving that, as you would call that, channel in order to help them, their economy kind of thrive. But at the same time, on the left, and even on the center left, you have a lot of people saying, just leave the Middle East, leave Iran. There's no need to be there. Allow that Strait of Hormuz to be controlled by whoever needs to control it, and we'll all live in peace. So, I mean, at this point, you know a lot about this more than we do. This is one of the reasons why we want to have you on here with us. Can you tell us, as of today, with all the notes and the research that you've been doing, what is truly going on in that strip or in that channel?
Well, first of all, Iran already mentioned its intent over a year ago, actually, that they will shut down the Strait of Hormuz if there is a major American interventionist strike on them, or a military intervention. And they did do it upon their religious leader being assassinated in the middle of their religious month Ramadan, which is the most obvious declaration of war you can do on a country. And they got caught off guard. I think America or the U.S. forces right now are in big trouble. That's what's really going on. The intent of the ceasefire is because America begged for a ceasefire.
America begged for a ceasefire.
America did beg for a ceasefire. They begged Pakistan to convince Iran to do the ceasefire. Iran still has 70% of its nuclear stockpiles and like over 50% of its drone stockpiles, which is thousands of drones and tens of thousands of missiles.
See, what I'm curious about is this, though. You're saying America begged for the ceasefire, but wasn't Israel the one conducting majority of the attacks?
Not necessarily. America was doing
supplying,
both.
Wasn't it?
It's American weaponry that's being supplied. It's American ammunition, American bombs that are being used by the Israeli state. So it's our tax dollars at the end of the day that's going over there, and that's paying for children, women, men of all ages to get slaughtered. And it's been going on for almost 3 years. And, no one's talking about Gaza anymore. Everyone just switched to Iran.
Yeah, the Ukraine and Gaza, the Ukraine and Russia conflict is thrown out the window. Gaza and Israel is no longer sexy. Now it's all about Israel and Iran.
So that's the thing. Like we tend to forget about different conflicts. Okay, that just within the day we just forget about it, but they've been going on for years already. It's already been 80 years the Gaza conflict's been going on, but no one's talking about it. Like they just forgot about it before October 7th. No one even remembered what Gaza was anymore.
Well, the Palestine and Israel war has been taking place since the Nakba, which was when Israel attacked Palestine, or Palestine attacked Israel, whatever you want to call it at this point. What year was the Nakba again? It was in like the 50s, right? That's when it took place.
Yeah, after 48. Yeah,
it was after 48. So that place has been in conflict for very, very, very long time. So at this point, the Gaza Strip is completely in ruins. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's CGI; it's not real." You're like, okay, why don't you just Google Map it and you could see truly what's happening, or Google Earth and you'll see the buildings in ruins.
How often does Google Earth take its photos?
I don't know. I know recently when you pull it up, it does say 2025 on there.
So
as far as Google Earth,
okay. It's not live like NASA's cameras.
We'll get to NASA later.
The problem overall is that undeclared wars or just preeminent strikes, preeminent aggression has just become a commonplace over these few years. It's being
but who's the common denominator here? What's the common denominator of these preeminent strikes?
Just overall the military-industrial complex as a whole. That's what's in charge of what's going on, of everything, both the sales and just overall the operations of everything.
Right, but it seems like one country is the one that's constantly utilized, playing the victim card.
Of course,
right?
Of course,
to provoke these
always
wars. The one that I would say maybe not as much would be Russia, Ukraine. That was, the NATO card they played to provoke Russia into going into Ukraine, right? Whereas the other ones, it seems like Israel is always the one being somehow attacked, and then they have to defend themselves, right? "Quote unquote," defend themselves.
Yeah.
But in this case, when did Iran attack Israel?
Well, for 40 years, they've been threatening to.
They're just weeks away from building a nuclear warhead. They're just weeks away from they have enough uranium to build an atomic bomb that could wipe out the entire world. That's what we've been hearing for the past, as you mentioned, 40 years.
So Iran has never attacked Israel directly to start a war ever before, even now. They've been the opposite. Now they've been attacked and they're defending themselves because, we pulled the first trigger. We started. We did the first shot. You could look at it that way. So we started this war. It's a war of choice, not a war of necessity. It's a war of choice for America, but for them, it's a war of necessity. It's a war of existentialist, of them being alive as a nation. They look at it as that we have to, somehow fight against the U.S. right now, and we have to prove ourselves as a viable military force to stay alive. Because if not, they're just going to get taken over by the same system, that runs, both the EU, NATO, America, and all of the other countries, for the most part.
I want you guys to ask yourself this question, and you two folks listening in, watching in. Can anybody tell me when Iran's Independence Day is? What day it is?
As far as a...
you know how we have Independence Day, right? July 4th?
Okay.
What's Iran's?
When did the Khomeini take over?
79.
So wouldn't it be whatever month, day of 79?
What do you think, Alec?
I just know about their Nowruz holiday, which is their New Year holiday.
Well, Nowruz is the beginning of spring. It's their New Year. But in fact, it's not only the Iranians that do it. The Afghans do it as well. It's pretty. I think all majority of Muslim countries do Nowruz, don't they?
I'm not sure which countries do it, but if you Google search Iran Independence Day, it doesn't exist.
You sure?
Guess why?
Oh God!
Do you know why?
Why?
Why not?
They've never been colonized. They've always been independent from the get-go.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? All of a sudden, we're just going to go in there and take over and take over the regime, change the regime, and how? How do you do that when they've been around for 6,000 years? I don't know what that.
Yeah.
So look at it. Look at this. Iran's official national day, known as Islamic Republic Day, is celebrated annually on April 1st since 1979.
That has nothing to do with
no. I know.
Independence Day.
It's. I mean, when is Armenia's Independence Day?
That's IRGC's
correct
celebration.
But see, what is Armenia's Independence Day?
92.
Yes, September. What was it? September
21st.
Yeah, of 1992, right?
Okay.
But how long has Armenia been around? It was our independence from the Soviets.
Right, but they were conquered.
So that's my question to you. Can you name me the year and month Iran became independent of some other country? Doesn't exist.
No.
That should tell you something.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the Zohan.
Yeah. I mean,
It's your Uber.
tell him you'll pick him up later.
My DoorDash is
Your
here.
DoorDash.
But we've mentioned this before. In fact, we had a reel that went out months ago where Armand mentioned it. He said that Iran is not Palestine. Iran is not Ukraine. Iran is not Venezuela. They're a completely different country. You're talking about engineers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, one of the most brilliant minds that come out of that country. And the United States, Israel, or whoever it is that's attempting to wage war against that country is thinking that, oh, you know what? We'll go in there just like we did in Venezuela, knock them out, be done with it, kill the Khamenei, and then we'll be okay. Now, his son is sitting in power. We don't know if his son is alive. There's allegedly. But these guys have multiple supreme leaders lined up one after the other. It's literally like one leader's gone, the other one will be replaced. Another leader's gone, he'll be replaced. So,
well, they have a fallback plan. That's why.
Well,
they were underestimated by this country.
See, that was the question we were asking a lot of people when the Khamenei was killed, and the United States and Canada and Australia, all the Iranian people were out in the streets celebrating it, which rightfully so. They should be celebrating. We were asking the question, okay, so what's next? Is this truly a regime change that's going to be taking place? Clearly, after all these weeks that have passed, nothing has changed as far as a regime change. The same people are in power. The IRGC is still controlling Iran. And the protests in the United States have somewhat died down. Every Sunday we saw protests in West Hollywood, in Canada, in Australia, in majority of parts of Europe. People were celebrating and protesting that they need a regime change and Reza Pahlavi has to come in and be the...
Have you seen Reza Pahlavi?
No, where is he? Where is he?
Where is Reza? Where is Waldo? Where's Reza?
Yeah. So once the Khamenei was killed, Reza Pahlavi, yes, he's going to be the transitional leader. Where is he? Have you guys heard of him?
Bro, they were counting
Or
on
heard
him.
from him? I'm
They
sorry.
were counting on him to step in.
Bro,
they were counting on him
when-
and the people to do regime change.
Look, this is a double-edged sword, or we're playing devil's advocate here. When we question certain things, we question it legitimately. When we said that Reza Pahlavi is not going to do anything,
What do
Or-
we call them? A Zoom?
a Zoom leader or a Zoom transitional leader.
Not even the enterprise plan.
Yeah.
Like the basic
the free
business
version.
plan.
The free version.
Yeah. He's net zero.
Net zero.
Net zero. Or
It's so much.
I know we are. But look, in all honesty, where is Reza Pahlavi? Where is he?
De donde eres? How do you say it in Farsi?
Well, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, they're protecting him." They
From
have to
what?
I don't know. It's a legitimate question. Please, if anybody could answer, and we've asked multiple people from the political side of what's going on in Iran who are more educated about this than we are, to come on, sit down with us and elaborate. Tell us, what is the plan? What is going to be happening if the Khamenei's son is killed, or the next supreme leader is killed, or the other one is killed? Okay, so what is the plan? Who is going to be the transitional leader?
So they have plans for like multiple leaders already in place afterwards in case anything happens.
Who's
besides the Iranian
Iranian
government.
regime
Yes,
does,
yes. So and also they have a system called Mosaic Defense. Have you heard of that before?
Yes, where they activate.
Yes. So where they have 30 different provinces, and it's basically a divided kind of a system where it's not just like one main headquarters giving commands to all 30 provinces, but the opposite, where each province has its own autonomy to make its own military objectives or decisions. In other words, if one province is demolished, let's say, and cannot fight, for example, there's 29 other provinces that could still make their own
It's a
decisions.
dragon with 30
Their own-
heads, in a sense.
And
Right?
exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
They've
yeah.
thought of this before, so they've planned ahead,
Like
So-
if there's no contact from headquarters, the main headquarters, then they activate.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They've thought of this before. So you can't just like do like a assassination hit and just assume there's going to be a regime change.
Yeah,
The
Iraq-
opposite. They're more unified now, actually. You
Yeah.
know, all of those protests that you were talking about that began beginning of this year. A lot of that was actually a foreign country's agents within that country that basically spiked up and added fuel to the fire to create those protests. And they actually shot at the Iranian police. They burned Iranian both police cars, fire trucks, ambulances. Like why are you burning down ambulances? That doesn't make
Tarek,
any
what are you
sense.
talking about, man? There was people here in the United States that were for the destruction of their own country, meaning their own country by Iran.
Yeah.
They were okay with the United States and Israel going in and bombing Tehran. Esfahan.
Which is just like
You're just kind of like, you're baffled by it. You're like, dude, are you serious? You really want the destruction of your own country for the regime change? Like when the Shah fell and the Khomeini took over, they didn't level Tehran. It was all strategically done. Now, who it was strategically done by, that's a different story. Right? I mean, in our opinion, we think the CIA and MI6 were involved in that, but that's another story in its own. But you don't have to level your country to have a regime change. It can still strategically be done. How it can be done, again, I'm not a geopolitician. None of us are. But
Speak for yourself.
go ahead. Please elaborate.
Yes, thank you. Joe, Matt, please.
But yeah, I mean, that's the big question right now is what will truly happen if the next Ayatollah falls?
There's going to be another one because it's still a Islamically run republic. It's still like a religious kind of like fundamentalist system. The main concern is the Strait of Hormuz, and the Red Sea also is another threat, because if the Houthis from Yemen, who are Shia affiliated with Iran, if they shut down the Red Sea, that's like an additional second blockade. That's going to also, raise the gas prices. There's going to be, barely like less food available, less fertilizers getting through. It's not only just fuel that goes through those ships, it's everything that we need to sustain ourselves as a society. So if they shut down both of those, of those funnels, it's going to be even a bigger strain on the world economy. So Iran is doing like a war of attrition. A war of attrition is where you try to, kind of lengthen the amount of time and kind of drain your enemy's resources by them having to spend so much money to sustain themselves. You have to drag the war along and hope your enemy kind of, over time gets weaker, because of the economical strain that they're causing.
Well, even
so, because they know that they can't defeat U.S. or Israel or NATO and the European countries with direct military force. They obviously know that those other countries and those other pacts are stronger than them. So they have to fight a war of attrition, where they have to like lengthen the amount of time, buy time, and cause economic damage in that sense, to where the world kind of revolts against America and Israel and says, you know what, we're not gonna, help fight your war anymore and fund your, weapons to just, bomb, whatever you want. So, which is what they've been doing.
Well, it's even if you compare the cost, Iran, I forget that leader's name who's always speaking on behalf of, the IRGC and everybody else. he was comparing numbers. He's like, listen, you guys spend $40-50 million on a missile. We spend $50,000 on a missile. We can produce 10,000 of these. You're not going to be able to produce 1,000 of these. It's too costly, too time consuming. We will fight you till you run out of ammunition, which is true. And it just surprises me. I'm sure our military leaders know that. They're aware of it. They're a lot smarter than we are, and that's what they do for a living. But I would love to be fly on the wall during those meetings to understand what's their strategy. Like, because I'm almost certain President Trump at some point had realized that, we made a big boo-boo here. Even taking out Khamenei, the theories I've heard is they wanted to take him out, but some of his replacements were also with him, who died with him. And his son was, in essence, forced to be the next supreme leader, which, if the U.S. or Israel had a choice, he would not be the first choice of replacement. The other guys would be, because they're less brutal than this guy is. Again, how much of that is true, I don't know, but that's another theory that's floating around. So you would think at this point, President Trump is probably looking around thinking like, how the hell do I get myself out of this with a straight face? Because he's kind of stuck. No matter what he does, Israel will still provoke Iran. Israel will do a false flag, whatever it takes, to make sure U.S. does not pull out. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's not in Israel's interest to do negotiations, or, their version of negotiations, or like a ceasefire is, you cease, we fire. That's their form of that's their form of agreement, quote unquote. Isn't it funny how like, for example, America's version of foreign policy or diplomacy, where they instead of like actually going into negotiations with goodwill and wanting to find a actual like some sort of a compromise, and some sort of a real agreement, they have a different strategy. America's foreign policy is a different strategy, where they impose demands. The strategy is to impose demands. The demands that you impose on another nation are not negotiable. They're ultimatums. So either you do what I say or I will kill you.
Well, there was an ultimatum
That's-
that was set 2 weeks
That's
ago.
what they've been doing, not just to Iran, but to many other countries. Most of the countries in the Middle East, most of the countries in Latin America have been overthrown. Their leaders have been overthrown over the years because of American, quote unquote, influences in the country that have overthrown those countries to extract their resources from them and exploit them.
Well, speaking of Latin American countries, I want to go back to what we mentioned. When we spoke about Iran not being a Venezuela or any of these other South American countries, this particular war proved it, because Venezuela was taken out in 24 to 48 hours, as far as, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
not Venezuela, but the dictating leader of Venezuela, 24 to 48 hours. Now, that was I guess you would call it an oil grab, as far as, oh, look, China's doing trades with Venezuela, they're selling oil off and blah, 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 blah. That's another story in its own. But as far as Iran is concerned, the ultimatum that you mentioned, right? 2 weeks ago, an ultimatum was mentioned to Iran. Trump basically on Easter Sunday said that you have 48 hours to open up the Strait of Hormuz, or I'm going to be raining down hell. I'm going to be wiping out an entire nation, blah, 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 blah. We sat down on Monday. We were like, all right, well, guys, 24 hours until Judgment Day. And then lo and behold, Tuesday comes around and it's like, oh, well, it looks like we came to a ceasefire. And it was kind of like Iran called his, I don't want to say his bluff.
It was a freaking
That's
bluff.
exactly what it is. Not only that, but they came and they said, no, we did not agree to anything. He's just not willing to do it.
Yeah.
Because there was no agreement at that point. It was just Iran knew he wasn't going to do anything.
How many times did he threaten them? Like, think about it.
Well, I mean, that leader that Armand was talking about, I forgot who it was exactly, but he's done multiple interviews with CNN, with BBC, and other foreign news outlets where they asked him. They said, "Well, how do you feel if the United States sends boots on the ground?" He says, "Come, bring your boots. Come. We're waiting for you." It's like, bro, this guy, he's literally, and look, I applaud him because he's willing to die for his country, man.
Don't you wish some of our leaders were like that?
I mean, that's exactly Joe took the words out of my mouth. Imagine, like, your president says, "I'm willing to go out into the battlefield and I'm willing to die for my country."
Our president currently did the opposite of that. During Vietnam, he fled the draft.
Oh yeah, of course.
Dodged it.
Because he had some sort of like a foot problem or something. He's been playing golf his whole life. He's never had problems with golf. It's interesting, right?
Growth spurt. Don't you remember?
Yeah. Matam.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you find
The
him?
guy's a bullshit artist. I'm just saying,
But you know what's
Like,
funny?
No.
He played.
He's a good actor.
But he
He's a
played
good
all of us.
businessman.
He played all of us.
And at this point, he's a good politician because he could play.
Were you here?
You know?
Were you here during the election party we held next door?
Yes, I was.
Everybody was excited because we thought the Trump of 2024 was going to be the same Trump of 2016. It was a complete opposite, man. All of us were blindsided by it. Now, again, you got a bunch of people who are on the far right, or the MAGAs, as you call them, the Make America Great Again hat wearers, where they'll turn around and say, trust the process, and he knows what he's doing. Okay, if he knew what he was doing, why is he bending the knee to Israel? Why is he bending the knee to other foreign countries? So what is truly happening right now? Is this all about making America great? Because clearly here in America, we're struggling, especially in Los Angeles, in California, in Florida, in Texas, certain areas, and in New York, in fact, as well. People are struggling, and things are going to get much, much worse as the times go on, because what we're running on now is supplies from probably a year and a half ago. What's taking place at the Strait of Hormuz and a lot of the trades that have been taking place, or supposed trades that have been taking place for the past couple of months with this war and stuff, we're going to feel the after effects next year.
Yeah. This isn't going away anytime soon. This
It's
is
not.
just getting started. And the war is going to continue. It's, the ceasefire is ending in 2 days. The 22nd is the 14 days. So the war is going to continue, unfortunately. because again, America doesn't negotiate in goodwill. It's ultimatums. It's not agreements or accords. They tell the public or they share in the media that these are agreements, these are accords we've reached, but they're not accords or agreements. No one agreed to them. They're just ultimatums. Do this or we'll come after you. That's it.
And you had so many
And they
very
do it.
popular
Yeah.
influencers and social media outlets supporting President Trump of 2024, from the Tucker Carlsons, the Candace Owens, the Alex Joneses, the what was her name? Kelly what?
Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly's. And all of a sudden Trump is going on Truth Social and just completely destroying these people in like all over Truth Social, calling them crazies, calling them bankrupt, calling them ugly. In fact, he said, what did he say about Candace Owens? He said she's an ugly woman,
Low IQ.
low IQ. She's talked about Macron's wife being ugly, but Macron's wife is much, much more prettier than Candace Owens. Like, what are you doing, man?
It's like
These people were
9-year-olds.
Well, don't you remember
Argument.
what he said about his own supporters?
These were his supporters.
No. Yes, but
Alex
the average
Jones.
Joe is what I'm saying.
Look, Alex Jones. If you guys remember correctly, Alex Jones in 2024 was saying, "This is it. We have to get him in office. He has to take over. The Democrats have to fall. We need Trump in office." This guy he put his neck out on the line for him, and for
That's true.
Trump to turn around and say, "Oh, he's just this bankrupt podcaster and he's a nobody now and he's ran out of money." It's like, well, Alex Jones has been right about a lot of things. Yeah, he's kind of on the tipping scale with certain controversial topics and conspiracy theories, but majority of stuff he's mentioned has come true.
A lot of stuff, not everything.
Majority.
But a lot of different stuff
Yeah.
that he said over the years has come true.
Yeah.
The real issue here is that the world economy is, kind of being held hostage for one country that has, goals of a greater kind of like a Israel project where they want to take over almost the entire Middle East.
Yeah. We have a super chat, by the way. Joe,
That's
can
the
we, can we bring that up really
Power
quick?
Super Chat unlocked. They're fueling the WiseNuts madness.
Well, we want to thank
Give me some time, man.
Yeah,
Give
sorry,
me some
sorry.
time.
We want to thank Arno the Capo for that super chat.
What
So-
a name.
So he's saying Pezeshkian, which is the president of Iran, said America can go back to Pakistan and negotiate alone. Iran won't be there. Either Trump accepts our requests or we are ready to, what is that?
Reassume.
Yeah, okay, that's what he wants, right? Resume, not reassume. Resume the war. Iran has,
so good.
yeah, Iran has humiliated America and NATO. I agree.
But I mean, but what's confusing, and I don't seem to understand. I don't know if you have any clue about this. It seems like when some of these ceasefires take place or something drastic happens, all of a sudden, like the S&P 500 will have a record-breaking day and stock. Like, I mean, are they just doing all of this to manipulate the market and make tens of billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, off the market? And we're just schmucks here, spending $12 a gallon on gas. I mean, what? Like,
So of course, so what they're doing is market manipulation, because I don't know if you've noticed, but every beginning of every week, so on Mondays like today, Trump would have a more like a peaceful tone in his tweets, like, "Oh, we're gonna have peace today." He even said earlier today in the morning that we're gonna sign a deal tonight with Iran. He just randomly said that. It was reported on Fox News because it's the beginning of the week. So he's trying to be more peaceful. So the market builds up from the beginning of the week until Friday. Once the markets close on Friday, he has his more genocidal tones. "I'm gonna wipe out this civilization. An entire civilization will die tonight," and everything.
so how do we get in
So-
on that? Like on those
And-
stock trades?
And in other words, so like on weekends, that's the time where he goes, much more fierce on on retaliation or strikes. This was the past 40 days before the ceasefire, and until the following Monday, where he has a more peaceful tone. And again, so he is manipulating the market. And if you look at the trends over these past 40, 50 days from when the war began, you'll see that on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, it's slightly going up, and then towards the weekend it goes down until the following week, and same trend. So it is market manipulation that they're at least attempting to do. So,
I wish we knew what he was going to announce so we could either short it or.
Well, you got to ask Barron Trump, because that's where Barron Trump allegedly made a lot of money.
Hold on, let's see. Barron Trump. How do you spell Barron?
BARRON.
Oh, it's that Barron Trump.
That Barron Trump. So, with everything going on right now,
sorry, Levik. Levik, you're so like buy low, sell high. You sound like that old man years ago who told friends of mine, like 30, 35 years ago, who opened a used car dealership. He said, "Listen, guys, come here. He's like, one of the uncles. There's a secret to this industry, And they're like sitting there all seriously, like, in their early 20s. What's the secret? When you buy cars, you got to buy it low, sell it high. Now we have Levik.
Well, no, Levik's got a different strategy. He says buy on Thursday and Friday, sell on Wednesday.
Okay, is that every Thursday, Friday, or is it?
Yeah, man, just put it on
every other.
Put it on auto buy and sell.
You mind sharing a screenshot of your portfolio? I bought it Thursday, miércoles, sold it Monday,
Wednesday, lunes, martes,
Lunes.
miércoles. Yeah. Lunes. I don't know, man. It's just sad that everything taking place right now is affecting not only the United States, but the entire world. China right now is struggling big time as well. And when China struggles, we're going to struggle because we're practically codependent on each other. As much as people want to hate on China and say that, oh, you know what, China is nothing without us. Hey, listen, at the same time, we're nothing without China as well. Majority of the shit that you see all around you, in fact, inside your own home, is made in China. And as much as we would love for it to be made elsewhere, like in possibly the United States, we've been spoiled. And the cost of living, if it were to be made in the United States, would probably skyrocket big time if it were to be made here.
We also don't really have the workforce or the industry here to be able to.
We do. We just have lazy people.
Sure. You could look at it that way as well, but over there, their work mentality, especially in Asia and like Russia and those areas.
Do you mean the slave labor?
Not necessarily.
Oh, come on, man! Everybody knows about Foxconn and the safety nets at the bottom of the building.
Of course, slavery and in a sense still exists for certain societies. But I'm talking about like the general just work mentality over there. They're more dedicated and stuff whenever they do their work than you would say like a typical American would.
Well, yeah, because they crack the whip.
Yeah, bro.
They have like a more nationalist kind of a thing than we have here.
You have nothing. You have nothing to look forward to. It's more of a you work to survive. You work to put food on the table. This is why a lot of people thank this country because of the opportunities you have here. Dude, the sweatshops in China are legit. This is why I always get pissed off at all these NBA players and the LeBron Jameses where they talk about their shoes and all this shit. It's like, all right, so where were your shoes made? Go look at the sweatshop that it was made in and the kids that are working there. They don't talk about that. All they talk about is, you know what, these are the LeBron 3s and each shoe is going to be about $150 to $200 but it costs some pennies on the like pennies to make, literally pennies to make.
Let me ask you this. Do you think those countries that we call now the term is underdeveloped countries or third world countries, do you think they're underdeveloped like Yanni they were always that way, or were they maldeveloped or overexploited over time by different empires over time and they turned maldeveloped? They became in a state of poverty and stuff. They weren't always in a state of poverty. Like for example, the Chinese Empire or even the state of India India wasn't always, in a sense, a poverty type of a nation. In 1800, before the British came in, they actually had one of the strongest textile industries in the world. That was outperforming the British Empire in its quality, or its, as far as quantity and stuff like that as well. So, and then the British went in after 1800 and just dismantled that entire industry, took over.
Well, they divided an entire country, man.
They extracted the resources over the decades or the centuries from that country, and that country turned, in a sense, that way. That country wasn't always that way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean?
The British went in there, they manipulated their entire economy, they took the natural resources from that country, and their thank you to the Indian people was to create the state of Pakistan and the state of India. They literally divided that country.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, well, see you guys later. You guys can figure this out. Look, but on the other hand, China is very advanced when it comes to technology.
Mm-hmm.
Their automotive industry is booming right now as well. There's a lot of cars being built in China that are surpassing American automotive technology, like big time. The problem with China is you're either very, 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 very wealthy, or you're just dirt poor, which is where this country is somewhat headed as well. There really truly is no middle class anymore in America. It's a dying class. But going back to what I was saying about China, you're either a what's it called, a worker, or you work for some high-ranking corporation in an office building. It's either one of those two. Are there businesses and stuff owned in China?
Yeah, of course there are.
As far as but as far as like owning the actual building itself and stuff like that, or is it kind of like
it's
a mix.
It's a mix.
It's very mixed. I've heard. That's why.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix. I mean, look at all the wholesale products that come out here. You're negotiating with business owners out there, right?
Yeah. My concern is the sweatshops, bro. That's my biggest concern there.
Yeah, I mean, labor is the problem, right? Labor is cheap that's the main thing. What's the age, right? Range?
Well, that's not even regulated.
Yeah, and I'm sure the working conditions. But then again, man, we're fed so much propaganda. I mean, before this war, we thought Iran was a terrorist organization, and they're all terrorists. Like, it's all bullshit.
Well, it's not to say Iran doesn't fund terrorist organizations.
No, I'm not saying there are
to call a nation a terrorist state.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only one terrorist state we know.
Well, a couple I could think of.
And they're in military uniforms, and they look all formal in their military uniforms, but their state is a terrorist state.
If you look about Iraq, man, weapons of mass destruction. Where are the weapons of mass destruction?
There were none. If you look at the history of the state of Israel prior to its founding, there were actually 3 Israeli terrorist organizations. This was prior to the state of Israel. Those 3 terrorist organizations, which the current president of Israel used to be a part of in his younger days. Okay, he was a part of one of those organizations. Those 3 of the organizations blended together, connected together, unified together when the state of Israel was created. Their symbol with like some sort of a wreath going around the sword, that was the symbol of one of those organizations.
Do you know what the names of those organizations were?
Yeah.
What were they?
The 2 of the 3, it's the Haganah, you could look it up, and the Ogun, as well as Stern, I think the 3rd one.
Haganah, Ogun, and Stern?
Yes. Those 3 organizations merged together when the state of Israel was founded.
Were pre-1948 Zionist parliamentary groups.
Exactly.
That fought and established the Jewish state in Palestine.
Exactly.
Didn't they commit that terrorist act at the hotel?
Yeah, they were known for committing terrorist acts, and they were Israelis. Yeah. And the current president, like I said, used to be in one of those 3 groups.
So look at this one. The Haganah served in the Central Organization Defense Force under the Jewish agencies, practicing a policy of havlaga, I guess, restraint before switching to an active resistance. It later merged into the IDF.
Exactly. You see, these people have roots in, doing these kinds of acts.
What was the other one you
this is
said?
not new. None of this is new. Yeah.
The one was the Stern. What was the other one?
The Ergin.
Okay, so look at this one.
And the Haganah.
So the Stern was a radical split from the Ergin, led by the Afghan Stern, I guess you would call it. It targeted British personnel during World War II, viewing the British as a primary enemy, often utilizing terrorism and assassinations.
Yeah. That's why they say they want to negotiate with you, and then they kill you as you're negotiating. They've already done it twice. First in June, during the 12-day war with Iran, they killed the negotiators during that war and a lot of government officials. They didn't kill the supreme leader then, even though they would have tried to. And this new war, February 28th, that began. They assassinated the supreme leader again on a religious holiday. It's like killing the Pope during like Easter or something. That's
on
something,
Christmas or Easter.
Yeah. It's something that like you're invoking like a religious war. That's the way these people look at it. Like some sort of a red or like a black flag was raised over their mosques over there in Iran. That symbolizes like we're gonna go in some kind of like a holy war. So that's the kind of like that's the atmosphere in their society right now. And the West, or like, America, who's in charge of the West, they've driven them to this point. Like we've killed a lot of their people. This isn't like the first time, that
I'm just curious if America were to really pull the rug up from underneath Israel, what would happen?
They would be forced to stop, instead of invading Lebanon. Like, have you seen what they've been doing to Lebanon?
Yeah, it's insane, bro.
They want all of southern Lebanon. They literally want all of southern Lebanon, all the way to the Litani River. They drew a yellow line today. You could look it up. Israel-Lebanon yellow line. They drew some sort of like a buffer zone already for southern Lebanon, as if it's legal in any sense of the word. Okay, they should abide by UN resolution. I think it's 1701. Where they had a peace agreement with Lebanon, I think in the 80s. Okay, they should abide by that agreement and go back to the current Lebanon border and stop. But they're not doing that. They want like literally all of southern Lebanon. Google Maps erased all of southern Lebanon's villages and districts. If you look at Google Maps, it's not Google Maps, I'm sorry, just Apple Maps, it's gone. Google Maps, it still exists, so you could see the comparison. I mean, it's really surprising, like what's going on.
Well, they're after Hezbollah in Lebanon now. That's the war.
That's what they say, but they say they're doing the Gaza model in Lebanon. In other words, they're going full genocide mode. They're just bombing anything there is. There's no strategy in it. That's the thing.
It's no different than when you ask people, have you actually seen a Hamas member? No. Have you seen a Hezbollah member? No. Have you seen a baby pigeon? No. Those three are in the same category, I think. I'm not saying they don't exist, but somehow nobody's ever seen one.
Well, when you ask them what a Hezbollah member looks like, they go, "Well, they're terrorists." Okay, so I understand they're terrorists. So what do they look like? Or a thing, Hamas. So have you seen a Hamas member? Yeah, they're freedom fighters. Okay, so what do they look like? They look like terrorists. So what is that? Nobody could explain what these people look like. But when they're in the tunnels or when they're in the school bus and there's children inside the school bus, you know what? Fuck it. Those kids might end up being Hezbollah or Hamas members. Just blow up the fucking school bus. How does any of that make sense?
Do you know officially like how many Hamas members, was total in Gaza that they said? This is like Israel's numbers that they claim. How many members there were?
Don't tell me like over 100,000.
No, it was like 30 to 40,000. This was pre-October 7th, 30 to 40,000 members.
Okay.
All of Gaza is 2.2 million people. So you're telling me they had to genocide 2.2 million people, or they already killed over 100,000, wounded like probably 300,000 or more wounded. This is like it's clear genocide. It can't be any clearer. You know?
What's baffling
So-
to me is the fact that they talk about them having a very strong military, strategic military, having the technology to be able to pinpoint strike certain people, but you can't go into the tunnels and find these people. You just have to fucking just nuke the whole place.
Because it's
Yeah.
premeditative murder, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no. That's why there's no actual plan. The plan is to murder these people. That's it. That's what I think.
Have you heard of the Dahiya doctrine?
No, what is that?
Dahiya doctrine. That's the name of it. So it's a doctrine that Israel has in their military.
Dahiya
You could
doctrine.
search it up. Yeah, Dahiya doctrine, where they've been bombing certain districts of Beirut even during peacetime. Just over the years, there doesn't have to be a reason. You should just like bomb them like routinely, just to create like some sort of an effect that they want. Dahiya doctrine. Yeah.
So the
can look it
Dahiya
up.
doctrine is an Israeli military strategy of asymmetric warfare that calls for using massive, disappropriated force and destroying civilians, infrastructure, and creating a target area supporting military groups formulated by the IDF. Generally, what's Gadi Izenko? Gadi Izenko? I have no idea who that is. It was named after the destruction of the Dahi suburb of Beirut,
In
during
Beirut.
2006 Lebanon war.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So this is
They-
basically like the similar to what was that? Oh my God, what did Israel call that thing where they were calling they would kill their own people?
Not the Samson option. The
No,
other
no, no.
one.
Samson option is
Yes, we all
Samson
know what the
option.
Samson option.
Samson
Yeah,
option is the last
exactly.
option we want.
The-
Oh my
the
God.
stuff they're not supposed to have.
The false flag,
No, not the false flag, bro.
Oh, the sacrifice.
But the Hannibal elective.
Hannibal
Hannibal
directive.
directive, yeah,
not
yeah.
Directive, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember because of the Hannibal movie.
Yeah, so the Hannibal, it's somewhat similar to the Hannibal directive, basically, except
Yeah.
it's
yes, yeah. Hannibal directive is on their own people. So
this is to the opposite.
This is the unfortunate thing that I'm sure you've heard of this, especially over the years. That on October 7th, 2023, they found a lot of charred Israeli vehicles. In the aftermath of what happened in those areas that were affected by October 7th, a lot of charred Israeli vehicles that could not have been caused by Hamas weapons.
It's done by themselves.
It's done by the IDF.
Yeah.
The IDF fired at their own population.
This doctrine is basically
that's the evidence of
this doctrine is basically to the infrastructure, the buildings, and all that crap. The Hannibal directive is to their own people.
It's yeah.
I
It's a
mean,
harsh
they
reality.
they had that option that was presented to, I believe, JFK. What was that? It was not Operation Northwoods, but I believe it was either Operation North. No, I'm definitely saying it wrong. But it was they presented it to JFK, and JFK said no to that idea.
Well, JFK said a lot of things no to
Yeah.
during his presidency, and we saw how that turned out. Dude, it's just sad what the hell's going on over there. They talk about the Palestinians and the Israelis and how they're enemies and how they've never gotten along. Dude, it's the same. It's the same people practically.
yeah.
They talk about anti-Semitism and all that stuff. So the Palestinians are as much Semites as the Israelis are.
Yes and no. So let me
Please.
let me go further. So modern day Israelis, for the most part, are migrants actually from Eastern Europe. They're not indigenous to that.
You're talking
land.
about the Ashkenazis, basically.
Ashkenazis, Eastern European Jews, Ukrainian, Polish, I don't know, Lithuanian, or different countries in Eastern Europe, or
Yes.
just Europe in general, that moved there, including Russia, because this is another interesting thing. Stalin closed all of the Soviet borders the entire time, didn't let any race pass the borders or enter. the borders into the Soviet Union. What's the one race he allowed to leave during the
Israelis, I'm assuming.
during
Or the Jewish people.
Yes. So during the beginning, basically the first year of the Jewish state, 1948, Stalin and America, I think it was Eisenhower at the time, they made a deal where you're going to allow the Jews to just freely leave the Soviet Union, Soviet Jews, and go to Israel. And that's what they did. So a lot of Russian Jews, by the tens of thousands back then, or if not more, just flooded into Israel in the beginning. That's not counting the Eastern European Jews or the European Jews on the Western side, which was, again, many tens of thousands.
When you look at the people who have historically lived there, the actual Jewish people who have historically lived in that territory, they look like Palestinians. They look like Arabs.
Yeah.
They all look the same. Like those are real Semites. So the Lebanese, the Syrians, I think even the Iraqis, those are all Semites. There's no difference. It's just unfortunate that due to religious factors, that particular territory has been at war for years now.
Yeah.
Because it's been promised to a certain demographics of people.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the settlers that are taking over the West Bank routinely, they're just going into like Palestinian villages in the West Bank and taking over.
Yes.
A lot of those settlers are from the West. They're even from America. So they're Jews that are from America, American citizens. They go over there. The Israeli government promises them land. They usually tell them, oh, this is free land over here. You could go over here and you could take this. And we have American citizens. We have European, even British citizens, British Jews, okay, that go over there and they steal the land of the indigenous people there. And they're not even from that land. They're from Europe. They're from America. They have nothing to do with that land. And the Palestinians, they're not migrants to that land. The Palestinians are actually more indigenous. They're more Semitic in their genetic makeup, in their blood, than a lot of modern day Israelis. Some Israelis might be indigenous to that land, but a lot of them are just migrants from Europe with completely different genetics, It's like, you're trying to like, and this is like the unfortunate thing. The Palestinians were the people after World War II that took those people in. They gave them food, they gave them shelter, they gave them a new home. Like,
I remember.
Never again we'll
yes.
live together. Never again will this ever happen to you. This is your new safe haven and everything. And ever since then, they've been just like slaughtering these people. And like, where is like the dignity? Where's the respect of these people?
Well, they consider them terrorists.
Nothing.
That's why
they're as cold as it gets
because they consider them terrorists. That's why.
But how do they consider them terrorists?
That's what their excuse is. Look at them.
No, that's their excuse. But they don't believe that they're terrorists.
That's like saying every German at the time of World War II was a Nazi. Every German was a Nazi. Every Russian was a communist. No, that's not how it works, man.
Brother, this is all from their Talmud. This is all designed to be the greater Israel project, so they could build their own freaking temple, right? And with the sacrifice of the red cow, and that it's all part of it.
You've seen the greater Israel map, I'm sure.
Of course, we've seen it.
So it's
from the river to the sea,
and all the way to Iran's borders on the other side, and a chunk of Turkey, Syria, Iraq, all of Jordan.
Does it get into Lebanon, Turkey as well?
Saudi
really?
Arabia. Yeah.
Well, they just
of Turkey.
They were just attacking. They were just saying that they're going to attack Turkey. Erdogan and them are having issues.
Yeah, that's true too. But until now, Turkey hasn't been. He's been voicing it for 2 years that I'm against what they're doing and I'm with Gaza and everything. But he's still selling oil to Israel. He's been selling oil.
That's all a show, man.
Of course.
Armand's mentioned it as well in the past, bro. It's like we've sat down with people and we've said, okay, so the Palestinians are being attacked by the Israelis. Where is everybody? Where are the Jordanians? Where are the Saudis? Where are the Turks? Where is everybody? Where you're not going to help your fellow people?
Yeah, the Sunni Muslims, especially after all this happened, they've shown that like they're not really like dedicated to like just overall, like their religion as a whole. If they were real Muslims, they would have to defend Gaza. They would have to at least be on Iran's side. But because of the Shia-Sunni divide, Israel is also using that as well. Like, I'll get the Shias and the Sunnis to go at war with each other, and that'll help me as Israel in the process. And that I weaken all of Islam by having them fight each other, and I'll just sit here and wait for them to get weakened, and then that'll help me with greater Israel.
Yeah,
And
but
then
then just
that's the way that they're enacting this. That's why Israelis I'm sure they get very happy that Dubai and Kuwait and Qatar and all of those different countries, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, all of them got bombed. I'm sure Israelis were celebrating that. They want Islam to be destroyed. They'll do it in any way possible. And the best way to do it for them is to get, all Muslims fighting each other. It helps them.
So it's sad that the Sunnis and Shias are divided as well, because what you just mentioned, right? You said that the Shias don't consider the Sunnis as religious as them, but it's like one of the cube that's in Saudi Arabia that you've seen Shias and Sunnis and all types of Muslims go and pray. So it's like, all right, so if they're not as religious as you are, why are you going and praying there then?
Yeah. They've always been divided, and Shias are the minority. And most of the countries that are like fighting, against Israel right now, they're Shias.
Well, the
Hezbollah Shia,
the Shias are calling the Sunnis traitors, and they're calling them Muslim Zionists.
Yeah.
That's what they're calling them because they're making so much money off
their
of oil.
And
The Saudis, the Abu Dhabis, the Dubai, the UAEs, Kuwait, Bahrain, all these Sunni Muslim countries are making a shit ton of money, and they're getting wealthy. And the Shias are saying, "Hey, listen, stop becoming so wealthy, and stop becoming so westernized."
Yeah, and like these people, like it's like the bribery and the lobbying and all of that stuff that goes on. Search up the definition of bribery and search up the definition of lobbying. Tell me if there's any difference. It's the same definition.
Let me see.
So,
bribery definition?
Yes.
Bribery.
Not Burberry. Bribery. Mr. Fashionista, next level.
And then you said lobbying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So bribery is the corrupt offering, giving, soliciting, or receiving of any item of value to influence the action of an official or employee violating duties of honesty and integrity. That's bribery.
Yeah.
Now, lobbying. Lobbying is the legal, regulated activity of attempting to influence government officials, including legislators and agency staff, to support the opposite policies, legislation, regulations, and executive orders. All right, so basically it's the same thing, but they literally just changed one word.
Yeah, basically.
They changed legal to illegal for bribery.
So now look up APAC, see what it says.
APAC?
It's going to say look up bribery and lobbyist. So, after all this, is there anything positive to say about anything that's going on, or is just all nonsense?
No, you always have to have hope for the future and keep your faith. That more positive outcomes are on the way, hopefully. But even if the war, let's just say it ended today, we're still looking at probably a decade of economic issues or losses because of just these 50 days of this war.
So then what's the positive in it? Which part?
Maybe this is like a wake-up call that we need to use different energy besides just oil. We were maybe too dependent on oil. We have to find a new solution to oil because of what just happened.
No way.
What do you think?
There's no way that's going to happen.
Because there's a lot of oil losses right now.
I understand that, but look, majority of the world runs off of oil. Have you seen Landman?
Of course. That's no question.
Okay, have you seen Landman, the series?
No, I haven't.
All right, go watch Landman, the series. Billy Bob Thornton is the main
I
character in
know.
it.
Yeah.
The character, I'm not going to say Billy Bob Thornton, but the character himself, he mentioned something about oil where you kind of like, you're like, all right, look, it's a show at the end of the day, but he's absolutely right about it. The entire world operates off of oil, meaning if you want to go green and you want to go solar and you want to go wind turbines and bullshit like that, right? In order to build that shit, you need oil. You need the machinery to be able to weld, cut, grind, build whatever it is that you need to build. So this fake narrative that, going solar and battery and turbines and all that. No, it's all bullshit, bro. It's literally a fake kind of energy efficient or energy saving propaganda created by the oil companies in order for them to just get richer.
I wasn't talking about like just going green in that sense at all. I'm talking about like finding new alternatives, not like the green
nuclear
necessarily. Either nuclear or like just different options, like undiscovered nuclear options, like stuff that hasn't even been like
I think we
we got to wait for the aliens to drop down and give them the technology. Then
look, we've discovered everything that needs to be discovered. It's just a matter of whether we utilize it or not. And nuclear is the only source, the most efficient, safest, cleanest source.
It is clean.
But we won't do it because it's it's hard to screw people over with nuclear power. Whereas with oil, it's a lot easier because look, nuclear power, anybody can build one in their country and it could just run off. One nuclear plant could possibly, I don't know how, depending on the size, what amount square miles or it could operate or supply power to. But obviously it's far, far less than the oil usage and all this corruption and wars that we have. At that point, they'll probably find something new and they'll say, well, if they have nuclear power, then they're only, 3 weeks away from building a nuclear. So regardless.
It sounds scary. That's the problem.
They'll find a way to attack any country. But ultimately, I think, and we always say people need to wake up, but then I think people have woken up. But it's like, so, okay, now what do we do? Okay, I'm awake, and then what? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, but a lot of people are also falling asleep as well, man. I ran into somebody last week, and they were like, oh my God, Arno, we love the show. We love what you guys are doing and what you guys are talking about and bringing these great guests and, exposing the truth. We're like, all right, so, what are your thoughts? Well, you know what? I don't really like to talk about politics. It's like, okay, so... And again, I'm not saying just talk about politics, but at least know a little bit about what the hell is truly going on around you. Because if you're just going to say, well, I don't want to really talk about politics, then you're just going to be like any other schmuck that's on the street that will follow a certain narrative. They'll tell you to jump. You'll say, how high do you want me to jump? You'll never question anything. And at the end of the day, you're no benefit to society because they'll control you however they want. You are the greatest sheep to them.
Yeah, I think it was Plato that said, "Those who do not get involved in the affairs of their government are bound to be ruled by tyrants."
There you go.
That's what it is.
And again, I'm not saying be a geopolitical specialist. Just understand what's going on. Don't just brush it off and say, I don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah.
Also, guys, just to mention, the oil alone, we're talking about fuel, but 85 to 90% of the products that are used on a daily basis require oil. You know that, right?
What do you mean by that? Hold on.
Okay, well,
as in to be manufactured?
Yes,
or?
To be manufactured.
Well, yeah, obviously. That's where I was going.
85 to 90%. So, like, oil is not just used for fuel, clearly. It's used for many other things. So, you could see how scarce or what a big issue this is.
No, of course. That's what we were talking about. The cutting, the welding, anything that we're manufacturing requires oil
not
for the machinery.
Not just the machinery.
Like plastic is made of oil.
Yeah, plastic is made of oil. Clothing, textiles.
Textile, yeah, a lot of things like that.
A bunch of stuff.
Like the lotion you use to rub yourself down,
Yeah.
the plastic coverage
For my
comes in.
ashy elbows, right? Ashy. Sorry, I had to throw it out there.
He forgot the callus in his hands. It's
Asphalt, synthetic rubbers for tires, paints, coatings, adhesives, a bunch of shit, bro.
Lubrication,
Lubrication.
baby oil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout out to P Diddy.
He's very familiar.
I haven't heard his name.
Of course not. Why would you? He's in jail, just like Harvey Weinstein.
I know, but you would hear something, no? Like, hey, we found this or found that.
Bro,
That's it.
it's not sexy anymore.
Was Epstein in Florida?
Palm Beach Pete up at
that Palm Beach Pete stuff is wild, man. That stuff was truly funny. You the poor guy, they snapped a photo of him and all of a sudden they're like, oh
Yeah,
look,
but have you seen the updates on him?
bro, dude, that's not Epstein.
I'm not
man.
saying that's Epstein, but have you seen the updates on him? Like the exact place where he owns a condo. Epstein owned the condo. Freaking tattoo. He has a tattoo on his arm. Epstein has the same tattoo on his arm.
The same tattoo? No.
Same tattoo. Yeah, I'm serious. Go look at all
Okay,
these
with
pictures.
AI, you don't think I could put the same tattoo on my arm?
Listen, again, I don't know. It's not verified, but check. I mean,
No, dude, they're
No,
not.
there's so much
they
stuff.
put him on a
online.
lie detector test.
Look, recently, as far as like social media and stuff is concerned, anytime I see a post where I have I don't even want to say a hunch that I know this is AI, dude, I end up blocking the page because there's so much bullshit that's being thrown out there where you're just looking at it, you're like, bro, this is AI, that's AI, I don't want it to ruin my algorithm. Because I've fallen into the trap of seeing something and going, oh my God, that's crazy. And then you go into the comments and it says AI, and
sure.
you're just like, oh God, man,
Yeah, for
I'm becoming my parents. I'm falling for shit now.
yeah.
don't you think that it's kind of like just a little weird to think about that, like in the future, like I mean, it's already happening now, but in the next like few years, AI is gonna get so good, so real that you're not gonna tell anymore what's a real video or what's fake.
Well, you can't tell
You know?
with a lot of stuff nowadays, man.
And it's getting better.
Of course it
that's
is.
the thing.
And I truly do think that AI right now is we're at ASI, which is basically artificial superior intelligence or artificial super intelligence. It's the next level of AI. We're at that stage already. Have they introduced it to us yet? They haven't, because I personally don't think we're ready for it. I mean, we're being duped by AI nowadays, especially with the war stuff going on. You go on Twitter, everything is basically practically people are asking Gronk, hey Gronk, is this real? Hey Gronk, is that real? Because you don't know what is and isn't truly happening out there. You have to try to verify it, and it's sad because it becomes a boy who cried wolf situation now, where it's like lies are put out there, lies are put out there, lies are put out there, and people are gonna be like, oh, well, that's fake, well, that's fake, and that's fake, and that's fake, and eventually, when shit really does hit the fan, they're gonna be like, well, he's lying, and then it's like, oh crap, no, there is a nuke actually headed towards the United States.
I mean, God forbid that ever happens.
Well, obviously,
but,
I'm just thinking,
that's the thing about AI. It's being used in ways that not a lot of people think it's being used. Like, for example, even in the military, have you heard of like the Lavender software?
No, I
Something
haven't.
like that.
What is that?
So the Israel specifically, they've been using a software called Lavender, where they're making like AI images of, for example, Gaza, or AI images of all of southern Lebanon. So they're creating like a Google Earth type of a thing for those specific regions, and they're planning strikes using AI like this. And AI like kind of determines like this building has a higher risk of having a terrorist in it, so they prioritize hitting that building. So they use AI to kill people too now. You have to look at it that way. It's being used militarily already.
I'm sure that AI that's very efficient, right?
And that gives them an excuse, or Yani, like, oh, AI is actually making the decisions. I'm exempt from being tried for war crimes because I wasn't in charge of the decision. Lavender made the decision for me.
They're washing their hands of blood.
Yeah, man, it's messed up. It's they just like there's no conscience anymore. They're just like cold hearted. They're just like killing left and right, no matter who it is or whatever. Eventually, somehow they have to be stopped. Either America, stopping them by doing these things, or by another country weakening their military to the point where the government just collapses.
Well, as long as America is the greatest ally, or vice versa, I don't think anything is going to change.
Yeah.
I really don't think anything will change. It's inevitable. And again, a lot of people are saying, well, this is biblical. This is the way it's supposed to happen. But what do I know?
That's the thing about like colonizers. You know what colonizer means, right? Just people that, imperialists, that they take over land and stuff like that. They don't go to necessarily the poor places, They go to rich places and they colonize the rich places. Why was Africa colonized? Not because it was a poor place and there was no resources. It's actually the opposite. Africa had a lot of rich resources, so they went into Africa and took all those resources. That's why, again, Africa is also third world and quote unquote underdeveloped.
It's beyond
quote
underdeveloped.
Unquote. But yeah, they were rich at some point in resources. But again, we go in and we take over that.
But see, you could say
same with Libya and stuff.
But you could say the opposite about the Saudis. See, Saudi Arabia prior to in the 1950s, before the oil boom, Saudi Arabia was very underdeveloped. Now it's beyond overdeveloped.
Yeah.
Same with Dubai. I think it's just a matter of how the politics is worked there and how smart I guess you would say the people there are in order to use whatever resource they have to their advantage against whoever is there to colonize.
Yeah. And that's another dichotomy where, for example, like extreme wealth and extreme poverty, right? We think that they're like exclusive from each other and that there is no connection, but actually there's actually interdependence. So extreme wealth, on one side, creates the extreme poverty on the other side. The reason that one side is extremely wealthy is because they've marginalized a huge population that's in poverty. So in medieval terms, you could look at it where there couldn't be kings and dukes and, princes and stuff like that, princesses, without a huge slave class or indentured servant class that kept them in power that way.
Well, that's what I was mentioning about China,
extreme
man.
Wealth, extreme poverty.
You have
it's like interdependent.
That's what I was mentioning about China. See, with China, we can go back to what I was mentioning as far as you had the business owners and you had obviously the high executives. The high executives are the kings and stuff. The business owners are the dukes, and then who do you have? You have the workers.
Yeah, exactly.
The poverty, the people working at the Foxcons and sweatshops and all that stuff. Look, people could go look it up. If you don't believe me, go look up what Foxconn was and just type in sweatshop safety nets. And look at what was actually there. People were living in these buildings, by the way. Like you would wake up, forget about 15-minute city. It was like you would wake up, you would go to work, and then you would go and sleep in the same building. And it got to the point where people were going insane because they didn't see any. They didn't go outside. They would live there, sleep there, bathe there, eat there, to the point of just complete mental exhaustion where they're like, you know what, I'd rather die. And they began to, commit suicide. They threw themselves off of the balconies and the windows. And there were so many suicides that took place where they began to put nets underneath the building to catch them.
We have
Joe,
footage of that.
Do you have any photos of that, Joe?
Yeah.
Or is it footage that you want to play?
No. It's photo. We don't want to see the footage, bro.
Well, yeah.
Let me share the screen. Well, here, let me go to Google.
Pull that up really quickly. This is the Foxconn one you're talking about? That I was talking about?
No, the safety nets for the sweatshops. That they put these safety nets.
Yeah, go to the actual Google link up there. Not there.
Give me 1 second. Right here.
No, you're not going to be able to click there. There you go.
You're talking about this. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, here we go. So these. Look. These images. These are the nets.
Yep. Click on that. You see the net right above the umbrella.
Right here. These.
That one as well. There's another one.
Where are we looking? Right here. Yeah, this one opens up a different page though.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, that's why I'm not clicking on it. But yeah. Anyway.
Click on that building right there. The third one from the bottom. First picture, third one from the bottom. Left.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Click on that one. There you go.
So these are the safety nets?
Basically what they are, they're nets that they would catch people when they would jump off the building.
Interesting.
And that was all in China, unfortunately.
There's a question from Love Beirut.
Go ahead.
For the guest. Someone, go ahead.
Which one was it?
Right here.
Let me see.
Someone asked if he has any proof that Israel is killing left and right Lebanese people. Dude, stop throwing out BS. Love Beirut, huh? Okay.
The evidence is quite clear that they've been razing districts of Beirut to the ground, especially over these past 2 weeks. The fact that anyone could doubt that there's hundreds, if not thousands, dead already in these past few days with Israel's deadly strikes all over southern Lebanon and Beirut, and what they call an incursion into Lebanon to create some sort of a fake buffer zone. There's thousands of people that live within that buffer zone, and they don't intend for any Lebanese people to return to their homes in southern Lebanon ever in that buffer zone. So if that's not genocide, if that's not killing people left and right, I don't know what is. And you should open your eyes.
Well, let's ask this individual. Do you believe what took place in Gaza is actually real, or do you think that's a conspiracy theory as well? I'm curious.
Which is also the model for Lebanon, what they did to Gaza.
And see, I'm glad this individual made that comment, because it goes to show you how no matter what happens, there's always going to be one side that believes in it, one side that's completely the opposite of it. Now, it's not to say which one is true or which one's right, which one's wrong. But at the end of the day, no matter what you do, it's not even going to be majority against minority. It's almost split in half, where half the people across the world believe what's going on in Iran or Lebanon, Gaza, Ukraine is actually going on. And then there's people who believe it's all exaggerated, or it's not even happening. That's not the truth. Russia tried to attack Ukraine because of this reason and that reason. It's not because NATO. And I mean, there's always three sides to a story. There's, one side, the other side, and then the truth. The truth, unfortunately, we'll never know, because we're not sitting in the negotiation room. We're not on the phone calls, or we're not on the meetings. So we believe what we're told, what we see, and then we analyze based on experience and logic. But that goes to show you somebody who screen name is Love Beirut thinks nothing is going on in Lebanon.
He responded as well he said it's real. I believe that might be referring to...
Which one is real, Gaza or Lebanon?
Gaza, I believe.
I was born and raised in Lebanon and have family in Lebanon. The president of Lebanon even called it out.
Who's saying that?
Love Beirut. That's the next comment that they put in there. There it is. It's on the screen. So,
well, it's not just up to the president of Lebanon to say that for you to believe it. It's the actions. Israel literally invaded Lebanon. I don't know, what sources you've been reading, if any.
I'm confused what they're saying.
I think they're saying the opposite. I think they're saying that there is
they've taken over southern Lebanon.
I want to get
of it.
Wait, I want to get
more.
I want to get clarification.
I think he's saying that
he or she, whoever it is. I want to get clarification. They, them. I want to get clarification. Are you saying that Lebanon is being attacked or is not being attacked by Israel?
No, I believe he believes it because it says it's time to clean out.
You know what this just reminded me of? Which group was it today? We were texting where the guy takes the interpreter. He's like, this is my translator. I'm the transistor. No, not transistor. Translator.
Translator. What is? Oh yeah. What is the reason of your visit? He is terrorist. A terrorist. Yeah, he is terrorist. No terrorist, tourist.
That was a good one.
So, it's now we're trying to figure out what they're trying to say. She's to say that.
And the funny part was the guy who was translating knew English was worse than the guy who needed a translator. Oh God!
That's
Look,
it.
I mean, we're lost in translation with a very simple YouTube live. Imagine what's going on overseas, man. We can't even fucking play telephone for crying out loud with like 10, 15 people.
So what else? What else are we discussing?
Artemis 2?
Anything other than war? What else is going on?
The overall, what do you guys think? Like as far as the economy, for example, how do you think this could get fixed? Like what because we're so, like how you guys said and how I agreed that the entire world is dependent on oil. If oil is under threat or under risk, like it is right now, what's the solution?
Look, they're using all of that as an excuse. We have enough reserves. We have access to enough oil where we don't need to be paying $8-9 a gallon. We don't need to be paying $17 for a dozen eggs. We don't need to be paying $2 million for a 1,200 square feet house. We don't need to be paying $15,000 a year for bullshit auto insurance or homeowners. Like none of it makes sense. None of it. It's like it was the perfect storm, and everybody, especially after COVID, everything, airlines, hotels, everything, every industry just decided, you know what? We're just going to price gouge the hell out of everybody. What can they possibly do? They're stupid enough to wear a mask for 2 years. They believe that 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Why don't we just double and triple everything? That's essentially what happened. And on top of that, you got these, fabricated wars and all this chaos they've created. All for what? If they wanted to, they could overproduce everything. In a matter of 6 to 12 months, we'd have a surplus of production, manufacturing, supplies, food, you name it, and prices can lower. But as long as we keep it at a quote-unquote shortage of oil, we have a shortage of
eggs,
homes and eggs and meat, and we need to make lab-grown meat and lab-grown chicken, and yeah, of course, then you're going to be like, I'm going to pay $20 for a little chicken thigh. Why? Like,
yeah, scarcity, create a demand.
It's insane.
Beef has become a luxury item.
Bro, beef, I mean, you could, look, right now, sometimes you can go get a pound of tomatoes, a pound of beef, or, half a dozen eggs, or everything costs the same. It's like, okay, so like there's no, before, you knew tomatoes you would buy for 79 cents, or beef was whatever, $3.49.
Everything is $10 now.
No, everything is $10 to $20, no matter what you're buying. Cheese,
toilet paper,
everything.
Toilet paper.
I mean, toilet paper, paper towel, forget it, bro. It's like, sheesh. Like
it's like you look at your cost currency, 10, 20, 20, and then your total bill comes out to like $700.
Yeah.
And then you look at your cart, you have like 6 items.
It's insane. So look, affordability is a big issue, but I think we just, this whole theory of there's not enough cows, there's not enough this, there's not, I don't buy any of this shit, bro. We have so much land. Yes, and I know raising cows or cattle, whatever, it's not as simple as just, okay, we have 2 million acres, let's just put 8 billion cows there. That's not how it works. There's infection controls, and there's, diets and checks and balance. There's a lot of things that go into it, don't get me wrong. But we have the resources, we have the land, we have the space. We're just trying to play this bullshit card that we're overpopulated, climate control. See, everything it leads to what? Scarcity and, shortage of everything. That's where we're at. They built us slowly to believe their nonsense. And today we believe everything. We have a shortage of this, shortage of that. We have a surplus of that, but then don't eat that because that's poison for you. And then why is it that when eggs were bad for us, there was plenty of eggs and it was only like $1.99 for pasture raised and organic, and the most well balanced eggs were $1.99. The moment the theory changed that eggs are actually good for you, it's good for your cholesterol and your heart and all this other stuff. All of a sudden, we're paying $35 to have a scrambled egg. Yeah. Everything is just—it's all a scam, man. This whole system is a big scam.
You know what I'm curious? I'm curious if you go to a restaurant and if you order scrambled eggs and if you order sunny side up eggs, it's the same price. I'm very or like over easy.
No, because scrambled, they got to use an extra, like a bowl or something to scramble it, right? Whereas the sunny side up goes boom directly into the pan.
Yeah, and then over easy, God forbid, you got to flip it over to the other
there's
side.
A cause for flipping it. It depends who's flipping it. Is it with that spatula, or is it the old
a poached egg might be a little bit more.
Oh, poached, yeah, because poached you got to time it.
Yeah, no, the cost of living is becoming ridiculous, and this goes back to what we were mentioning about what happened to America first.
Yeah, exactly.
I could even piggyback on Armand as far as the homeless crisis that's going on, right? They're talking about like, not enough housing. That is the biggest bullshit in the world, bro. We don't have a housing issue. What we have is a massive drug epidemic. We've been in talks with Spencer Pratt, who's running for LA City mayor, to have him on the show. And his team was talking about something about possibly doing a skit or a segment at Skid Row to show what's truly happening. And if you go to Skid Row used to be basically a block. Skid Row is no longer a block. Skid Row is a fucking city now. Like it's literally a city. You have homeless people everywhere. People on overdosing on fentanyl. People dying on the streets. That is a epidemic or a pandemic, as they call it. That's a crisis right now. And when they talk about Karen Bass saying, well, the homeless crisis has gone down. No, the homeless crisis hasn't gone down. What's happened is homeless people have died on the street, and that's why those numbers have gone down. That's what's happening. Or else you haven't fixed the homeless crisis. Literally, go to East LA and see what's going on. From the prostitution, the drug epidemic, and the homeless defecating all over the street. It's ridiculous, man. I don't even want to go to Hollywood Boulevard anymore, bro.
Yeah. So they don't want a solution to the homeless problem or the homeless crisis in LA specifically, because they're making, there's a lot of foundations, a lot of different organizations, homeless related and stuff, that are making money off of just the fact that the homelessness issue is growing or expanding. They're making money off of those organizations from donations and different stuff, and they don't want that to end. So in other words, they need to keep the homeless problem just, continuing and continuing. They don't want a solution. I heard years ago that it would cost $20 billion to solve the homelessness crisis in America, in all of America. But they don't want to pay all of that at once, and they don't want a solution to the problem. They want to keep it going because there's too many people making huge amounts of money in these charities and stuff like that, and they don't want to.
Government lives off of problems. They don't want solutions. If there were a solution to every problem, then what's the point of having a government? The purpose of government was not created to keep things in order and to make sure there's checks and balances. No, it was created for corruption. That's it. To corrupt, to do whatever the hell they want. And you have to trust it because it's the government.
Yeah. And they're here to help.
Yeah. And, you just pay taxes, even though the government doesn't give a flying about your taxes. The way they make their money is completely different. Your taxes is just a way to enslave us. Tax has nothing to do with, none of our dollars have gone into, maybe locally a little bit, they'll fix 2 and 3 potholes and then break 5 more. But the government doesn't function off of our tax dollars. That's all BS. So at the end of the day, like you said, they keep the homeless problem. They keep all these, frauds going on. The whole system is a fraud. So the fact that what's funny is that when they go after people, right? Oh, we got these people for committing $5 million. Okay, good for you. Now go after the guy who committed the $5 billion fraud, which happens to be your business partners in the Senate and Congress and every other government office. Go after them, and then we'll applaud you. Going after the guy who committed a $300,000 fraud, yes, they shouldn't. But that's not the big fish. Those guys are little, peasants that eat off of the crumbs. I'm not vouching for them. Go after the big guys. The moment you do that, like, you commented on Bill Gates, nothing will happen button. Nothing happens to any of these guys. It's just constant. I stopped following David Harris Jr.
David Harris Jr. He's completely brainwashed.
I couldn't take the breaking news anymore. Breaking news. So and so, like, okay, and then what? Every day, like 5 breaking news.
Well, why do you think I'm going in there and commenting that?
Dude,
David, listen, anytime you're putting breaking news up, I promise you, we are going to be in the comments and we are going to say exactly the same thing. Nothing will happen because nothing ever does happen. All these people get away with it because they're all part of the swamp. And it's part of the swamp that the president promised to drain. And he's never going to drain it. Because you know why? Because he's part of the swamp.
There's more breaking news coming out of the local senior center than the stupid bullshit you're posting, David. Breaking news. Nothing's breaking about it. It's not even news. It's just like it's trying to
distraction.
Try to get people to think, oh man, the administration's actually doing something about it. Yeah, really? Yeah. Well, what are they doing about it?
Yeah.
What? Tell me what.
This goes back to Elon Musk, man. Elon Musk created Doge, right?
Yeah.
Elon Musk, the first couple of months, went into Doge and began to audit every single government entity that there was. And I promise you this, man, there was a reason why Doge shut down. He probably found so much shit where he was like, oh my God, like there's no fixing this. There is so much corruption where this is beyond my pay grade. And that's why, in my opinion, Doge collapsed or shut down because he was just to the point where he was like, dude, this is all going to lead to everybody. Like everyone is corrupt. Everyone is corrupt.
Yeah, but what you think Elon is an exception to that rule?
I'm not saying he isn't, but I think his was to the point where he was like, dude, this is a massive spider web that everybody is entangled in.
That was theatrics. That was a way of Trump getting into office because Elon has 200 million some followers on X. That was another way of...
Well, he owns X.
Of course, but that was another way of him getting into office. Don't you think? I mean, you got to Joe Rogan's audience, Elon Musk's audience, you name it.
Tucker Carlson.
Everybody's audience.
Theo Vaughn, yeah. Theo Vaughn was one.
The other comedian...
which one?
Schultz. Schultz is...
Andrew Schultz.
Like
even Dave Smith was on board with him as well. Dude, look at all these people. And now... look, I truly do think the real MAGA, the real Make America Great, is the Dave Smiths, the Theo Vaughn, the Joe Rogans, the Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlsons, Alex Jones, even like cuckoo Alex Jones. That is the real Make America Great. Mm-hmm. Whatever is happening as far as this Trump MAGA movement, I really do think that's not Make America Great. It's not even an America First movement.
And he's lost his base, most of his support, his approval rating and stuff, it's all gone, and he's done it to himself, with his actions over these past, 15, 16 months that he's been in office. Yeah. Had he performed better, had he actually done his promises, the stuff that he said he was going to do, it would have been a different
some
presidency.
Of the things he did do. You can't just say he didn't do anything.
Vast majority, he didn't.
Look, the only thing he didn't do is he didn't stay out of wars. That's the only thing he has.
Which has costed us a lot.
He didn't lower the prices on anything. He didn't, he did, quote unquote, he's trying to solve like the internal immigration
problem, deportation and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff like that. which I don't agree with the methods he's doing it, as far as like going after people literally on the street and stuff. But that was a problem that Biden created, definitely. It's just he could have went at it in a different way as opposed to the way he's doing it right now.
I think there should have been
aggressive.
There should have been more transparency. I'll promise you this: if it was done the aggressive way that he conducted it, and there was more transparency as to who's being detained, how long they're being detained for, and when they're being released, if they're being released or if they're being deported, I think there wouldn't be as much outrage during these ICE raids as there were this past year.
It's hard to believe that, I don't know, that one man has that much power to think that he could make decisions, right? Sign executive orders and all these things could happen. I find that very hard to believe. As much as I think the Constitution is the most powerful document ever written by man, to me, it's still, I find it very hard to believe that one man that we quote unquote elect has been selected into power, has all this power, global power, not even just national. I mean, I don't know. It's all everything to me is just orchestrated. I
want to piggyback on what Arsen G once said as well. The Epstein files, that's another thing. The JFK files, that's another one.
Of course.
The 9/11 files, that's another one.
Of course.
Look, there's a lot of declassification that needs to be done that hasn't been declassified. And if you're calling whatever has been released declassified with all those redacted black marks on it, you're as full of shit as he is.
Guys, nothing has been declassified. Nothing. No secret file has ever been classified. The only thing you know about JFK or 9/11 or any of the world wars or anything before that or after that, you know what they want you to know. Nothing has ever been declassified. And it never will. Just like even, when was it? Was it during Biden's presidency, right before he came into office? We found these classified boxes, and then some of them were next to his Corvette. Some of them were in.
What happened with those files?
Nothing. I mean, it's the.
See, this is why when we say that nothing will ever happen, nothing will ever happen.
Because it's a big club and we're not invited. That's it. We're not a part of it.
Yep.
And those big guys are all in the club. I mean, look, the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Larry Ellisons, all these guys are in the club.
Both left and right.
There's no way. And everything is just data collection. They're data mining. That's all they're doing.
Palantir.
And they're making trillions of dollars. Don't get me wrong. But they're data mining. Because the more they know about us, the more they will know how to manipulate and control us. Everything from Amazon to Facebook to X to you name it, Uber, and everything is data. Everything. Even any business you're in, if there's any government involvement, any type of subsidy, it's all about data. You fill out the application, it's 478 pages of data. You're filling out data. You're filling out census data. You're filling this data, this information. Everything is information. Yeah. And what are they? They're not just collecting that information to send you a Christmas card. It's because the data is going to be used against us eventually. It is now.
Blackmail. It's a form of blackmail.
Otherwise, you think they gave these grants to Elon Musk because of his beautiful yellow eyes, or to Jeff Bezos came from a small little library online to controlling half of the retail across the world.
Not only controlling but bankrupting majority of the retail stores nationwide. He took out the Toys R Us's. He took out everyone. And I guarantee you, I promise you, who's next? Pharmaceuticals. As soon as Amazon is going to be able to pack, ship pharmaceuticals, the pharmacy industry is going to change. It's going to change massively. Just give it time.
Aren't they doing it already though?
I'm talking about on a much larger scale. As in, like, when you go to the doctor and there's a prescription, by the time you get home, that Amazon drone is going to be dropping off that prescription for you.
Yeah.
You no longer have to go to your local pharmacy.
Yeah.
No more Rite Aid, no more Walgreens, no more Target pharmacies. He's going to take all those guys out as well. I'm telling you, you go to the doctor, you visit your doctor. If you even visit your doctor, doctor visits are going to be by Zoom as well. Your colonoscopy is going to be done virtually overseas. But by the time you drive from your doctor's office to your home, your medication is going to be right at your door. Mark my word, 5 years. 5 years.
I thought colonoscopy was being done on OnlyFans now.
That's a different type of colonoscopy.
Oh, is it?
I didn't think
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
I always thought it was the same.
Yeah, business is bad. We're going to do OnlyFans now.
Look, these days, that's the only way to stay afloat is.
I mean, I've been selling. I got to wait for my big toe to heal so I can start selling my toes online.
I agree with
dropped some-
Levick, by the way,
What did he say?
right here.
The cocaine in the White House?
No. Hey, don't use that word. Oh,
What did you do, Joe?
I broke it.
What'd you break?
No, that's fine. We're good.
All right. They make us think they hate each other after hours they have dinner together.
100%.
Oh, yeah, of course, bro.
100%.
Of course they do.
100%.
They're again, as I said, they wanted to drain the swamp. The swamp has overflown. Let me put it to you that way. The swamp has overflown.
It's two wings of the same bird. Both political parties are the same. It's a two-party dictatorship.
It's always
been like that.
Do you know the only thing that changed, and that's why people are so affected by it now, is because it's always been the same. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is it's more visible because of social media and internet and the accessibility of it. Before, you had to go pick up a newspaper, then you had to go read, to the library, dig up the newspaper. That's what do they call it? The old ones.
The fish, where
You had to take out the film, like the old archives.
Superfish.
Yeah, the archives. You had to bring the archives into that thing and look into it and read it. Now, would you could go to ChatGPT and do compare World War I to World War II. How many people died? What was the ethnicities?
But here's, what's the big difference?
What?
ChatGPT could change it at any moment, any time, creating that, the mandala effect, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Whereas when you go into those archives and you look at printed shit, that stuff can't be manipulated at all. This is why when they talk about certain books being printed, the first editions are always the most expensive. It's because that's what the author truly wrote. And that's why it's so much more expensive. My parents have a very old encyclopedia in their attic. A very, very old encyclopedia.
Before the Jews touched it, or
I gotta go dig through that shit, bro. I have to go dig through that shit. And I'm talking about there might be text in that where it may be a little bit different than what's truly online. It's a very old encyclopedia.
Most likely will be.
But my point, yes, and that's true.
Red Cross data, baby.
Ooh.
And my point is that the system hasn't changed. It's just we're discussing it more because the information is more available and we're feeling it on our skin more. Back then people lived their lives because it was one income household. The husband, the father worked, they made a decent living. Kids went to school. They played outside. It was a simple life. They had steak and canned spam and whatever else they grilled burgers once every Sunday. And it was a simple life. Now, so much has changed. Things have become so complex that every little thing affects us. And so we're becoming more reactive to it. And we're like, oh my God, they're scamming. It was always the same thing. It always was. The government was never for us. None of these organizations were ever for the people. It was always for their own pockets, for their clubs. It's just now we've realized it more, and because life has become tougher due to cost of living, it's affecting us more. So we're, it's irritating us because we're like, it's actually what's it?
Striking a vein.
Yeah. There was a time like in humanity, like before all this postmodernism and stuff, where people were people weren't afraid of their governments. The governments were actually afraid of their people.
Yeah.
That's from the V for Vendetta movie.
Yeah.
You know, like where, you know, people actually led actual revolts. There was actual revolutions, the French Revolution and stuff like that, where, you know, people rose up and they actually made a change. I mean, it was a violent change and stuff, but violence in that sense is necessary if you're fighting against a tyranny. You know, you have to look at it that way. And we've kind of like forgotten, you know, we've forgotten our roots. We've forgotten like what we stand for in this like postmodern age and melting pot kind of mentality where nationalism is like kind of on the decline. If you say you're a nationalist, you love your country, you're perceived as like, oh, you know, like, are you, you know, potentially racist and stuff? Are you ethnocentric because you love your country and you love your race? You know, that's where we're at. You know, that's, you know, nationalism and patriotism is shunned nowadays, and that's the root of a lot of issues.
A lot of people are distracted as well. That's another reason. We're so distracted by our phones and the whole doom scrolling that we talk about, where it's just a constant distraction, and they can control whatever they want, however they want. They'll let you see what they want you to see, and what they don't want you to see, you'll probably never see it. This is why we go back and we talk about it, where we go, nothing will ever happen, is because they don't want us to see what will truly happen. And they're all, again, they're all part of the same club. They're all part of the same party, and none of us are invited.
Yeah.
The only time we'll be invited is, well, I think is when we actually get up and revolt against all this bullshit. But will that ever happen? I don't think so. And COVID proved it, where you would stand up and say, hey, listen, I'm not wearing a mask. And the guy next to you is walking by, and instead of him saying, you know what, I'm not wearing a mask either, this is all bullshit, but bro, just put your mask on, don't worry about it. And I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get fired. I want to be able to go to the basketball game. I want to be able to eat at this my favorite restaurant. COVID proved it. And that was the testing grounds for the government to see how much we will do as we're told. And, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 2020 was the proof of it.
The mass obedience to those fake rules and whatever. And remember how they would they would say, like, even in Glendale, you know, at that time, like, we'll give you a ticket if you don't have a mask on and stuff.
Bro, Armand got like a bunch of tickets.
There's no law for that. There's no law for that.
He has a bunch of tickets with John Doe
how are you doing
and Bend Over,
Jack Mayoff,
and Michael Ear. So he's got a bunch of tickets. So
I should have saved all of this.
That would be worth a lot.
Yeah, framed them and put them at the lounge.
The obedience to that was like ridiculous.
But see, we laugh at it. We laugh at it, but it's so sad, man.
Yeah,
it's truly is sad, and we talk about it. God forbid if another quote unquote, and if you're listening to us, I got my quotations up in the air, pandemic were to happen. How much of the society do you think will actually fall for it? Armand says what? You said 80%, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I find it hard to believe. I think a lot more people have woken up to...
Because they won't use the same thing. They'll alter it a little bit and make it even more dramatic. And then people, this one's different, or no, I'm telling you, it's different. No, it's the same. No, this one's different. I feel it's different. That's what's gonna happen. You don't think they know how to use fear tactics by now? It's like they'll have 4 people dead on the street, like fake bodies, and then all of a sudden, people are dying on the street, man. It's not like COVID. COVID, they had tents.
You know what cracks me up? I swear, every time I see this video, I burst into laughter. Where it says, it's a video of in China where it says 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and it says, okay, maybe a little bit longer, and they're just like duct taping this guy. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, of course.
They're just taping him up. It's like, okay, where are you gonna take him? You're gonna go put him into quarantine, like taped up like that.
But they had quarantine cages, dude, in China. Like, literally, they had like these cages over there.
Oh, man, it can't be worse than Australia, bro. Australia was worse. Australia, you couldn't speak against it. God forbid you you posted something on social media, they come knock on your door and be like, we have a warrant for your arrest.
How did Australia get COVID? Isn't it like 40 hours flight from the nearest country?
Up and not even just posting or commenting, even just liking a post that was controversial, they would show up at your door in Australia.
And they would arrest you.
just for liking something.
I think the moon is closer than Australia, and yet Australia.
Oh my God. I'm curious if the people in Africa got COVID.
Not the tribal people.
No way.
There's no way those guys got it.
No,
I don't think India got COVID either, bro. With the food, with the street food that they're serving, bro, they could survive a fucking apocalypse.
Can you imagine eating that?
Jeez.
The guy's toenails are digging into the. You know what's funny? I actually had Indian food yesterday. I had some chicken masala and some paneer.
I used to love Indian food, and ever since these videos have come out, I haven't had the desire to go out to an Indian restaurant.
No. Obviously, the
I
food.
still love a great fish masala or something, or their chutney, but these videos where they just take a plastic bag and just throw something in there. And then,
plastic bag. It's a newspaper.
no, not that one. The liquid thing they're giving you, like this small plastic bag, and then they just take a spoon of this wet thing, and then this other wet thing, and this other. Like you're just mixing 7 different spicy wet things.
They're using leaves they put leaves on it.
You know what's the funny one? The one where they bring in this giant rusted metal cylinder, and then they just like jam it with ice, and then he starts spinning and just starts pouring different types of liquids on it as it's freezing over, and then like it's literally just rusted all over it. And then he shaves it and he serves the kids with like rusted ices.
And Madnalka, it's like a cutlet. He takes that ground beef.
That's in Afghanistan and stuff.
Is that Afghanistan? Is it? That big pan they have that
in the motor oil.
Yeah, the motor oil. And then they have that little thing on top. I don't know what that thing is to balance themselves. And then they take that just then he put his hand in that boiling motor oil.
And then
and then the worst part is he takes the meat out and then he'll crack it in. Because it's like, God forbid you crack the egg in the motor oil, and then he'll mix it with his hand again. It's literally steaming as he's just mixing it with his hand, and then he'll.
The egg turns all black, and you have no idea what the hell it is, and they just put a leaf and then put like 4 spoons of different wet spicy
and some red onion, and then he'll serve it
on the leaf of it, yeah,
with some Fanta.
Yeah, the Fanta is the best.
Oh my God. Anyways, oh jeez, I think that you guys.
That was a crazy.
I think that was a good ending. Narek, is there anything you want to anything else you want to kind of cover before we call it a night? I think we should have you back as a contributor, though.
Of course.
What do you guys think? You guys down?
Back, of course.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, we just have to make sure he practices using the mic properly. He's not. Yeah, and then what happened was we went down there, and then it was.
Well, it was his first show.
We're trying to chase his voice. Yeah, and then what? Yeah, and then we came over.
I'm pretty tall too, so there's that. Yeah.
You are. But no, we'll definitely have you back as a contributor. I think when we do have certain home team episodes where some of your expertise is needed when it comes to geopolitics and some of the political aspects in Europe and Asia and the Middle East is called for. We'll definitely have you back on, man.
Of course.
We would want your intel on it as well.
And your expertise on Pakistani street food.
Yes. I can talk about that shit for hours, bro. God forbid he uses his right hand. It's always the left hand. Or actually, no. He uses his right hand. He doesn't use, or does it the opposite? Oh, you shake with your right hand. You don't wipe your ass with. Yeah, he uses his right hand, his non-haram hand. That's how he serves it to you.
I'd love to understand their microbiome and how they digest all that. Like, what is it?
I don't know, but Arno just mentioned something as well that cracked me up. What about the guy who's making food and he's shaking his head thinking he's going to make it
Oh yeah, that guy's mixing like a drink.
I've seen that.
He's got Tourette's. He just do that, pretending he's moving super fast. He takes the ice.
He slams the glasses on the table like Jartuma straight up.
Bro, he puts the ice in the glass, and then he'll take the ice out and smash it with the cup, and then put it back in again.
I think over there you could sell anything as long as you put like 5 different bullshit crap in, whether it's in a cup of Sprite, a cup of Fanta, or a leaf of like some beans with 8 different.
One of my friends was saying, have you seen the one where they pour the Sprite and they put this powder in it?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what my buddy was saying? He was saying, why is he putting that rose food inside?
The what?
The rose food. You know when you buy a bouquet of roses, they give you that white powder?
Yeah.
Why is he putting that rose vitamins or rose food
It's
inside?
to prevent diarrhea, probably.
Oh God! If you could go to India and you could have Indian street food for a week straight and not have, or not even a week straight, a day straight and not have diarrhea, you know what? Without Pepto-Bismol. Hats off to you. Hats off to you. Guys, all right. Today's episode will be up and running on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all major platforms mañana. Thanks for hanging out with us these last couple of minutes for the laughs. That was totally worth it. Ending on Monday. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Have a great week.
We're gonna go have Indian food right now.
Yeah, I have it in my fridge. I don't. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys all next week.
Thank you.